Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Infection back on the screen. Let's get it. No, guys. So, we're going to talk about 5 things that you need to do if you've had a lower back injury. This is just talking about lower back stuff. I can definitely go over other injuries and how to modify stuff later, but we're going to talk about 5 things you got to do. Number 1 is change your mindset. If you were still in the mindset of, hey, I'm going to go in, I'm going to freaking deadlift 350 pounds for 10 reps for 3 sets, no biggie, stop. Okay, just stop it, because you're not going to do that. You got to leave the ego at the freaking door and think about new ways that you're going to stimulate your legs and how to get them to grow, okay? You must be open to change. You have to be. You just got to leave the ego at home, guys or girls. Number 2. Choosing the appropriate exercise. So for me, you're going to see what I do in my workout, but depending on the mechanism of your actual injury, for me, it always got bothered by back squats and deadlifts, naturally, because I'm 6'5", and that's where the biggest point of pressure is on both of the lifts, especially on a high bar squat. But yours might be different. So the rule of thumb for me is that if you can do the exercise with absolutely zero weight, full range of motion, and it doesn't interfere with the mechanism of injury that usually flares it up or caused it in the first place, then you're pretty much good to go. And one small caveat to that is that even if you can do the exercise, if it still feels a little wonky, don't do it. Stay away from it. A very general rule of thumb is, hey, if it feels good, okay, good. If it doesn't feel good, avoid it like the freaking plague, because your back is one straw away from breaking your own back again. So don't do that. Okay, number 3, choosing the appropriate weight. So one huge thing for me is that I had to start doing a lot of single-sided period things with my legs, because one, it reduces the weight total than the pressure on your body, and it can correct any imbalances. So it's a good idea either way, and you can get a lot more stimulation with a lot less weight. However, what you're thinking about now is pure stimulation, time under tension, all that good stuff. It's not about trying to build so much strength. Your legs will get stronger doing one-sided things. So choose the appropriate weight for stimulation. You want to be in a set for 30 to 45 seconds. That's a lot of freaking time if you think about it. Instead of doing squats for 5 by 5 or something like that, and you're doing 15-second sets, you start doing 30 to 45 to a minute long sets with your legs, they're gonna be dying. Number 4, and this is a pretty good rule for almost any injury and working out around it, is to mobilize the area. Usually the area will get stiff, whether it's your low back, shoulder, elbow, whatever, because the muscles are trying to guard. Or if you had an injury there that was severe enough to actually cause some type of pain, and if it's big enough pain that you're sitting here watching this video thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do for legs, then it's severe enough. So you need to mobilize the area. Gotta mobilize, okay? And for low back, we're talking about hip flexors, we're talking about glutes, hips in general, internal, external rotation, flexion, extension, all of that, okay? We're talking about hamstrings, we're talking about quads, and especially the biggest ones for me were always rectus femoris, and in general, my glutes, okay? So make sure and be mobilizing those areas through the week to make sure you have good range of motion. And those tight muscles, even the deep ones in the hip, are not limiting you. And finally, number 5, core. Freaking do your core, man. It has to be done. It is your entire stabilizer. Okay, and we're talking not just, oh yeah, let me get a 6-pack, brother. No, core is from here all the way down, under, and around the back, all the way up to here. Again, that is your core, your entire core region, okay? So we're talking about abs, we're talking about your deep hip flexors, we're talking about your erectors group, your multifidus group in your back. We're talking about doing exercises like Kegels, okay? Strengthen all of your pelvic floor muscles, because that is the under part, okay, that connects all of your core, and it must be strong. It has to be to support everything, okay? For abs, for general abs, I will just warn you with this. Try not to do too many things that are heavily involving your rectus femoris, which is your hip flexor group. So try not to do so many things where your legs are swinging around. Do more of where your upper body is doing the movement to strengthen core. Of course, working that lower movement is getting all the hip flexor strength is good, but they attach to the front of your lumbar spine. So in doing so, you might irritate it a little bit. So go easy on it and make sure you are, step 4, mobilizing the area so you have strength and mobility, which is essentially function. And we want functionality, especially when there's an injury. So those are my 5 general rules for creating your leg workout after a low back injury, whether it is initially like right after your injury, which again, I would consider doing other things for rehab and stuff like that. If it's right after, which I can totally make a video on that if anyone has a request to, maybe I will just for funsies. I mean, it is what I do. I'm a chiropractor and I literally see it every day. It's what I do. So pretty simple stuff for me, but I can make a video on it. But this is more for, hey, you've kind of gotten out of the injury stage and you're more in the rehab. You can move around okay for the most part, and you're trying to get back into working out. You're trying to get your life back, man. I feel you. So these are my top 5s for that. So without further ado, let's get into my own leg day. This is a quad dominant leg day. I do legs twice a week now because I'm really trying to get them to grow, and they're loving it. They really are. So I think as long as I keep steady, don't go too insane, don't let the pre-workout get to my head too much, then I'll be okay. And you gotta just enjoy the journey, right? So let's get into it. So this is not where I saw myself at the beginning of my leg workout today, but shit happens, literally. I'm just sitting here, my heart rate is just going up and up and up because we started taking Redcon ones, Total War. And I realize this is probably not how they want their product represented, but it's some good shit. Got my heart rate up right now. I don't need a warm up. I'm ready to go. So I'm just going to let y'all watch these clips of my own workout. These exercises work best for me. I just want y'all to notice how I'm trying to apply these rules to this workout. So obviously besides the core and the mobilization, right? Because those are things that you're going to do outside of your workout. However, my tempo in this is specifically designed for me. This is what I feel best, a natural progression of the negative movement and the positive movement. It feels really good on my joints and I feel it really, really well in my muscles. So this is naturally my tempo for most of my leg exercises. It's not too fast, not too slow, just nice and held, I will say is the word I will use. Held with my muscles through the whole range of motion. Nice and controlled. And you'll notice I'm gonna leave this whole leg press set up, or yeah, this set after this exercise. It lasts forever because it's a double drop set and it's terrible, but it lasts forever. And that's the point I'm trying to get across, is it doesn't have to be super heavy weight, but you're gonna freaking feel it if you apply most of these rules and just focus on stimulation rather than weight. That little hamstring, it's coming back, and I will see y'all on the next one.